The Galactic Revelation. In the distant reaches of the galaxy, where civilizations sprawled across star systems like glittering constellations, a seemingly ordinary human cargo hauler ventured into the unknown. Its mission was simple: to transport goods across the vast expanse of space. However, this routine operation would soon become a pivotal moment in the galaxy's history. One fateful day, the cargo hauler came under attack by an alien race previously unknown to humanity. The alien aggressors were a formidable sight, a race of beings roughly half the size of a human that possessed a ferocity that rivaled even the most fearsome predators. They resembled Earth's bears, but evolved with thumbs and walked upright, their appearance as unsettling as their intentions. The human crew, caught off guard, managed to activate an emergency drone. This drone, a last beacon of hope, jettisoned from the hauler with a critical data dump from the ship's computers. It carried detailed information about the attackers, a desperate plea for assistance to the nearest human star system. The transmission caused an uproar within the human-controlled space. This single incident exposed humanity to a broader galaxy, teeming with advanced civilizations far beyond their own technological achievements. For the first time, humans realized their place in a vast, interconnected universe, filled with species centuries ahead in terms of development and power. As months passed, the identity of the attackers became clear. They were a race the humans came to call the Grizzlies, named for their bear-like appearance and aggressive nature. These beings thrived on war and conquest, a fact that only deepened the intrigue and dread among the human leaders. Despite numerous offers for peace, all attempts were met with hostility. Every envoy sent to negotiate was either killed or destroyed. The Grizzlies, known for their brutal war practices, only recognized one form of communication: combat. They adhered to a philosophy of conquest, viewing the galaxy as their hunting ground. The humans' attempts at diplomacy were futile, leading to minor skirmishes along the borders of their territory, but stopping short of full-scale war. In their quest for understanding, human ambassadors reached out to the galaxy's various species to learn about the rules of warfare among them. The response was unsettlingly uniform. There were no rules. The concept of war, as explained by these advanced races, was devoid of any ethical constraints or formal guidelines. This revelation left the humans in shock. The idea of waging war without rules was alien to humanity, whose history had long been marked by principles of justice and restraint even in times of conflict. The concept of humane warfare, including the protection of medical transports and prisoners of war, seemed to be an afterthought to these galactic civilizations. For the first time, humanity grappled with the unsettling reality that their values were out of place in a universe that reveled in chaos. Faced with this grim realization, human leaders attempted to establish their own code of conduct. They proposed limitations: no attacks on medical facilities or transports, no use of nuclear or biological weapons, and targeting only military objectives rather than civilian populations. This effort was intended to preserve their principles even in the harsh arena of interstellar conflict. The first strike. The Grizzlies, however, had no intention of honoring these agreements. Their first response to the human overtures was a devastating display of their disregard for the proposed rules. They unleashed nuclear weapons on a heavily populated human planet, causing immense destruction and loss of life. The attack was a clear message of their intent. Humanity's attempts at diplomacy were futile, and the Grizzlies would not be restrained by any form of ethical consideration. In response, humanity's reaction was swift and unrelenting. The human military, with its advanced technology and strategic acumen, launched a counter-offensive. Within weeks, the Grizzlies faced a barrage of retaliatory strikes. 3 of their planets were reduced to rubble, and their fleets, once formidable, were turned into frozen tombs drifting in the void of space. This decisive retaliation was more than a show of strength. It was a demonstration of humanity's commitment to their principles of war. They had clearly communicated their stance. Failure to adhere to their rules of war would result in severe consequences. The humans wanted the galaxy to understand that their values were non-negotiable, and the repercussions of disregarding them would be profound. Despite the overwhelming response, the Grizzlies continued their aggressive tactics. They launched further attacks, dropping chemical weapons on another human planet. The result was catastrophic. A population suffered a slow, agonizing death, their agony a testament to the Grizzlies' brutal nature. The humans, however, remained silent. The galaxy, watching from the sidelines, believed that the Grizzlies had finally won. Yet this belief was a grave miscalculation. Humans were not only capable of immense resilience, but also possessed a form of warfare that transcended traditional battle strategies. Their approach was not just about physical might, but also psychological warfare, a domain the galaxy had left behind eons ago. Human leaders understood that victory required more than just brute force. They needed to convey their message in a manner that would resonate deeply with their adversaries. Thus began a new phase in the conflict, one that would challenge the very fabric of the Grizzlies' existence and test the limits of their endurance. The dark arts of war. As the conflict with the Grizzlies escalated, humanity's strategic approach took a darker turn. The psychological aspect of warfare became a cornerstone of their strategy. The humans unleashed a series of tactics designed not only to defeat their enemies, but to instill fear and confusion. First, they executed a series of coordinated strikes that rendered several grizzly colonies silent. These planets, once bustling with life, now seemed abandoned. Investigations revealed a chilling truth. The Grizzlies' populations had vanished, as if they had been abducted. The mystery of their disappearance sent shockwaves through the Grizzly ranks, creating a sense of paranoia and disarray. But the humans were just getting started. The next phase of their plan involved releasing an insidious virus, specifically engineered to target the Grizzlies. This virus had a horrifying effect. It caused the Grizzlies to revert to their most primal, animalistic instincts. Entire planets fell into chaos as the infected Grizzlies succumbed to a rabid state, their once formidable societies collapsing under the strain of their own savagery. The humans, with their cold precision, issued a final ultimatum to the Grizzlies. Relent, and they would cease their attacks. Fail to comply, and the galaxy would witness a level of horror previously unimaginable. This warning was not just a threat. It was a carefully calculated move to force the Grizzlies into a corner, leveraging their fear and desperation to bring about a resolution. As the Grizzlies faced the unrelenting human assault, the galaxy watched in stunned silence. The human strategy was both brilliant and terrifying. They had harnessed the power of psychological warfare to an extent that was previously thought impossible. The Grizzlies, once seen as unstoppable conquerors, now faced a force that was not only technologically superior, but also adept at exploiting their deepest fears. Humanity's approach to war, though brutal, was a stark reminder of their ingenuity and determination. They had shown the galaxy that their strength lay not just in their technological prowess, but also in their ability to adapt and evolve their strategies to meet the challenges of their adversaries. The Grizzlies, now reeling from the psychological and physical assault, were left to grapple with the reality of their situation. The tides turn. The Grizzlies' once formidable military apparatus was now in tatters. The combination of human psychological tactics and relentless physical attacks had taken a toll on their capacity to wage war effectively. Entire fleets were reduced to scrap, and the Grizzlies' stronghold planets were decimated. The response from the Grizzlies was one of desperation. They began to employ more erratic and reckless strategies in a bid to turn the tide. However, the humans were prepared for this. Their extensive intelligence network and strategic foresight allowed them to anticipate the Grizzlies' moves and counter them effectively. Human forces continued their relentless advance. Their strategy, now focused on systematically dismantling the Grizzlies' remaining capabilities, was proving successful. The human military, fueled by a mix of vengeance and a desire to uphold their principles, pushed forward with an unyielding resolve. Despite the overwhelming odds, the Grizzlies refused to surrender. Their culture, deeply rooted in the concept of the Great Hunt, made the idea of retreat or defeat almost unthinkable. The humans, aware of this, continued to apply pressure, both physically and psychologically. They knew that breaking the grizzly spirit was as crucial as defeating their military forces. Amidst the chaos, a new sense of unity emerged within the human ranks. The shared struggle and collective determination fostered a bond among the soldiers and civilians alike. The war, which had begun as a conflict with an alien race, had transformed into a fight for survival and a testament to human resilience. As the battle raged on, the humans began to see glimpses of hope. The once unbreakable grizzlies were showing signs of weariness. Their internal communications were increasingly filled with despair and confusion. The psychological warfare employed by the humans had achieved its intended effect, sowing discord and discontent within the grizzly ranks. In the midst of this turmoil, a pivotal moment approached. The humans were on the brink of delivering a final decisive blow that could bring an end to the conflict. The grizzlies, cornered and desperate, faced a reckoning unlike anything they had encountered before. The final offensive. The humans, now positioned for a final offensive, prepared to deliver a blow that would determine the outcome of the war. Their strategy was to focus on the heart of the grizzlies' remaining stronghold, a heavily fortified planet that served as the nexus of their military operations. The preparation for this final assault was meticulous. Human forces, equipped with advanced technology and driven by a sense of righteous fury, coordinated their efforts with precision. The operation was designed to neutralize the grizzlies' remaining capabilities and force a decisive end to the conflict. As the offensive commenced, the intensity of the battle reached unprecedented levels. The skies over the grizzly stronghold darkened with the smoke of conflict, and the ground shook with the force of relentless bombardment. The grizzlies, despite their best efforts, found themselves overwhelmed by the sheer scale and intensity of the human assault. The final assault was not just a military operation. It was a culmination of the psychological warfare that had been waged throughout the conflict. The grizzlies, now fully aware of the dire situation, were faced with the harsh reality of their choices. Their once formidable defenses crumbled under the weight of the human onslaught. In a dramatic turn of events, the grizzlies' leadership was forced to make a critical decision. The mounting losses and the undeniable strength of the human forces left them with little option but to seek a resolution. The once unyielding conquerors were now faced with the prospect of surrender. The humans, though victorious, were not intent on annihilation. Their goal had always been to uphold their principles and to convey the message that their values were non-negotiable. With the grizzlies finally acknowledging the futility of their resistance, the stage was set for a potential resolution. The peace process. With the grizzlies' surrender, the galaxy held its breath as the peace process began. The humans, guided by their principles of fairness and justice, approached the negotiations with a sense of cautious optimism. The goal was to establish a new order that would prevent further conflicts and ensure that the lessons learned from the war would not be forgotten. The peace talks were intense and complex. Representatives from various galactic factions, including the Grizzlies, gathered to discuss the terms of the agreement. The humans, well aware of the gravity of the situation, advocated for a resolution that would address the root causes of the conflict and lay the foundation for a more harmonious future. One of the central aspects of the peace process was the establishment of rules governing warfare and conduct between civilizations. The humans pushed for the inclusion of their principles, such as the protection of non-combatants, humane treatment of prisoners, and the prohibition of certain types of warfare, into the new galactic code. The negotiations were not without challenges. The Grizzlies, though defeated, were reluctant to fully embrace the principles advocated by the humans. Their culture, deeply ingrained with the ethos of the Great Hunt, struggled to reconcile with the new order. However, the pressure from the other galactic factions and the undeniable strength of the human position eventually led to a compromise. The final agreement was a significant milestone. It marked a shift in the galactic understanding of warfare and established a new set of standards for interstellar conflict. The humans had succeeded in their mission to convey the importance of ethical conduct in war and to set a precedent for future engagements. The peace process also paved the way for reconstruction and rehabilitation. The Grizzlies, now facing the aftermath of the war, embarked on a journey of recovery. The humans, while maintaining their vigilance, extended a hand of assistance to help rebuild the war-torn regions and integrate the Grizzlies into the broader galactic community. A new era of cooperation. With the peace agreement in place and the Grizzlies beginning their path to recovery, a new era of cooperation dawned upon the galaxy. The conflict had left deep scars, but it also forged new alliances and established a framework for peaceful coexistence. The humans, having demonstrated their strength and resilience, were now viewed with newfound respect. Their ability to uphold their principles in the face of adversity had earned them a place of honor in the galactic community. They became advocates for the ethical conduct of warfare and played a crucial role in shaping the future of interstellar relations. The Grizzlies, while still grappling with the changes imposed by the peace agreement, began to integrate into the galactic fold. Their society underwent a transformation as they adapted to the new norms and embraced the values of cooperation and mutual respect. The once feared conquerors were now part of a larger, more unified galaxy. Humanity's legacy from the conflict was a testament to their ingenuity, resilience, and unwavering commitment to their principles. The war against the Grizzlies had been a harsh reminder of the darker aspects of the galaxy, but it also highlighted the capacity for change and the power of standing firm in one's values. As the galaxy moved forward, the lessons learned from the conflict served as a guiding light. The importance of ethical conduct, the value of diplomacy, and the strength of unity became cornerstones of interstellar relations. The human experience had reshaped the galaxy's understanding of war and peace, paving the way for a more harmonious and cooperative future. The story of humanity's confrontation with the Grizzlies became a powerful narrative, a reminder of the strength of the human spirit and the potential for positive change, even in the darkest of times. It was a tale of bravery, resilience, and the enduring belief that, no matter the challenge, humanity would always strive for a better, more just world.